Hey, y'all. You know how sometimes you get in a phase of life where everything is going really well and it's so easy to stay on track with all of your dreams and your goals and your efforts. And then life decides, I'm going to throw you a curveball. I'm going to start putting some obstacles in front of you. And some people say, oh, the universe is testing me, or, God is testing me. I don't like to say that. I actually think, no, you're being trusted. You're being trusted that, when everything isn't calm and in a state of just normal and there's some chaos thrown your way, you're being trusted to stay on track. And I say that a lot. And I've been on this journey, this transformational journey that started with weight loss and now has really become even more of an internal transformation than an external one. And I hadn't really been tested. So, some things happen. And I say that, I've lost some friendships. I've gone through some hard times. I've had some bumps in the road. But I haven't had where my external environment really hasn't been working for me. I've had where my internal has been topsy-turvy, or, I maybe haven't lost as much weight as I wanted to, or maybe I put on some weight, those types of things. But I haven't had really where my external environment that I can't control has really had its way with me. And so I haven't been making a lot of videos, as you've probably noticed, because I'm almost 3 years into my weight loss, and really I'll just say my metamorphosis, my transformation. I'm almost 3 years into it in the fall. And starting in May of this year, things just started to get crazy. They started to get really nuts. I had been doing a lot of travel, but throughout this journey, I've been traveling a lot. So I had learned how to maneuver that. I had learned how to stay true to my eating plan. Now, as most of you may know, if you've watched any of my other videos, I did intermittent fasting for a lot of my weight loss. And then as I started to hit some pretty big roadblocks in terms of my body just not responding and not having a lot of room to move, I then opted, with my doctor's advice, to go into the GLP-1s. And I did that. And then I came off of those. I hit my goals and I came off of those right before the holidays, actually. And all had been well. Maintaining the weight, no problem. Actually lost some more weight, even though really I felt fine where I was. I just, my body was responding and I was still doing all the things. And I lost some more weight. And I got almost, I think, too thin, to be honest. I didn't like the way my face looked. And so May came around and did some traveling. Again, no weight gain or anything like that. And then I fell. I went out to dinner with a friend and we went back to her place and we were just hanging out, having a few drinks on her patio. And I went into her house to go to the bathroom and I tripped on some stairs and I turned so as not to hit my head or anything. And I just slammed my back in a way. I didn't break anything. I went to the doctor. I had x-rays. It hurt so much. And it was towards the end of May. And I was getting ready to go into a lake trip on a boat. And then from there, going into 3 days later, the trip to Europe that I went on. And fortunately, I have a friend who's so talented in Reiki and some cranial sacral work. And she worked magic on me, or I would not have been able to go on the lake trip. But I couldn't work out. There was no way. Walking was a gift. Being able to ride on that boat was a gift. But there's no way I could have done yoga. There's no way I could have done, it wasn't going to happen. And then we left for Europe. And so all went well in Europe. We were walking a lot. We were, eating a ton, but we were walking a lot. We were doing all the things. And I gained weight over that time that we went to the lake. We were eating, we were drinking, no movement for me. And so I probably put on maybe 5 pounds, 6 pounds. Went to Europe and lost some weight, actually, which I tend to do on vacations because I'm pretty active walking. And, the food over there is so healthy. Even when you are indulging, it's still really healthy. It's just not made like it is here in the States. And so lost some weight that way. Came back down a couple pounds, but it was still up from, when I hurt my back. And then I got strep throat. Actually, no, that's a lie. I got strep throat before I left for Europe. Oh my gosh, the timelines. Went to the lake, got strep throat while I was at the lake, got treated for that 2 days before I left for Europe. Left for Europe, was on the meds for the strep throat, came back, and was up a few pounds. Back was still recovering. I didn't feel ready yet to go back. I was better, but I didn't feel ready to go back into like yoga where you're like doing that rotation and all of that. So I was doing a little bit of walking, but I was, I'm going to be honest. I was eating what I wanted to eat and I was drinking what I wanted to drink. I kept the vacation mode going in my mind. I just did. And I was building my website and getting ready to roll out my offer. So be on the lookout. As soon as this all gets ready, it should be soon. I'll have that out to you. But what is my program I'm going to do? How am I going to do it? And I've hired a couple of people and it hasn't been smooth. It just hasn't. I thought it was going to go much more smoothly. A lot of it is on me because of getting sick and hurting my back and having these trips. I delayed things. Some of it is I didn't ask good questions on what to expect. And so there's been a lot of just misunderstandings that I've had to work through. And it's created a lot of chaos for me as I've tried to navigate this my first time doing it. And so that has created a lot of stress for me that I didn't have. Plus, I then got sick again. So I kind of knew the antibiotics didn't totally knock out everything just because I was still scratchy, but I sure did get sick again and I got really sick and I was down and out. I literally just I just got my voice back on Saturday maybe and started to feel better on Saturday, but also got my voice back. I was down and out for probably a good 10 days. And I was so hungry. So I ate a lot. I didn't move at all. And I gained weight. So I'm up probably 15 pounds right now. Not a big deal. And that's what I wanted to talk about. I really wanted to talk about when life throws us things that are outside of our control. I got robbed in Italy, created a lot of internal stress for when I got home. It created a lot of stress because a lot of that I just said I'll deal with it when I get home. So it created a lot of stress there. I had the back issue, which created a lot of stress. Am I going to be able to take these trips? Then I got strep throat. Am I going to be able to go to Europe? I then come home, I get sick again. I've got all of this stress that I can't control with, people I've hired who, we're just not on the same page and things aren't flowing the way I thought they would. And so I'm having to work through how am I going to show up in this situation? And I'll tell you, in some cases, I didn't do it to the level that makes me proud. I got frustrated and that frustration came out, and that's humanity. And then I had to go back and say, okay, some of this is on me. I didn't fully understand. And so now let's reset. Let's get on the same page and figure it out. But it took a lot of time. It took a lot of distractions. It took a lot of growth. It took energy that I didn't feel like I had because I was sick. And so many factors I couldn't control. I couldn't control the fact that I fell. my foot getting caught in my long skirt when I wasn't wearing my shoes. I couldn't control that. I couldn't control that I got strep throat. I couldn't control that I got robbed. I couldn't control that I got sick again when I got home. I couldn't control the fact that someone I hired was doing things differently than in my head I thought it was going to go. I couldn't control those factors. And the things that I could control, I lost control of as a result. So as the chaos was happening that I could not control, the one thing I could control was my response to those things, but it was taking every bit of energy I had to deal with it. I wasn't feeling good. I was hurting. I was scared. My nervous system was completely dysregulated, and I couldn't go to the places that I normally go to regulate it. And so it was like, who am I showing up as? I'm being trusted to show up as the person that can handle this, that is ready for this. And furthermore, I'm creating a business where I am helping people to show up in chaos and be the calm in that storm. And I have all of these storms raging around me, and I'm not necessarily being the calm in those storms. So my inner guidance really started to say to me, what are you doing here? Like, this is not the person you've become over this last almost 3 years. This is the person you were. You were fight or flight. That's how you got in the situation that you were in. That's how you were 303 pounds, because you were in fight or flight. You were not being a conscious contributor to your mental health, to your physical health, to your spiritual health. You were saying, when it all calms down, I'll get back under control. You are the calm. And so, am I mad at myself that I've gained 15? Absolutely, I'm not. I had weight I needed to gain anyway. I was not looking healthy where I was, in my opinion. So I wouldn't go back to that place anyway. Do I want to, get back to 5, 6, 7 pounds down? Yes. Am I content where I am? Also, yes. That the weight isn't the point. The point is, who am I showing up as? And what mask did I start to put back on as a result of all this chaos going on? Because here's the thing. You can lose the weight or whatever it is that you struggle with, whatever it is that is your external manifestation of the masks you keep wearing for safety, security, fear, all the different reasons we mask in the first place. You can, get to a place where you do that transformation. But how are you going to stay there? How are you going to let go or even release the temptation to go back to those safe places when the world gets crazy around you? And you're going to give in. It's almost 3 years into my journey, and this is the first time I've given in, but I gave in. And it showed up. It showed up in added weight. It showed up in I started to get inflamed again. I haven't had inflammation in my body. I used to have inflammation so badly I couldn't even close my hands. This finger wouldn't go like this. I thought I had arthritis. And maybe I did, but I don't. I'm able to bend and move and do all the things that I was able to do, but it was starting to get bad again. It was starting to get where I was like, oh, okay, no, my rings weren't going on. And it wasn't because of weight, because those rings fit when I was 160 pounds heavier. those rings were fitting me. So it was inflammation. It was inflammation because I was letting all of this stress and anxiety and chaos internalize in me instead of just observing it, instead of being the observer and saying, okay, this is not great. This is not great. But it is what it is. And I can't control those things. I can control me. So I'm going to continue to drink my water because it helps to flush my system. I am going to continue to do breath work. I don't have to have a healthy body to do breath work. I can have a cold. I can have a sore throat. I can have no voice and breathe. So let's do that. I can still journal my feelings. I can still take a salt bath. I can still walk. I can take a walk outside. I can put my feet in the grass and ground. I can listen to my favorite music. I can lift weights. I can still do all of these things. So let's not focus on the things I can't do. Let's focus on the things I can do that I know work, that I know regulate my system. And that's where I am. I've recircled back. And I said, okay, girl, you can't only show up on the good days. You deserve more than that. You are the only one who can show up for you, regardless of what's happening externally. The internal world is yours. You control that. So I've reset. And I am back now on my patterns, if you will, my rituals, my daily habits. It doesn't really matter what you call it. I am back on the things that I know work for me. So I'm going to do what I can do. And what can I do? Well, I can drink high vibe smoothies that nourish my body with a lot of vitamin C. Rebuild. I can drink a lot of water. Rebuild. I can ground. I can talk to a friend. I can journal. I can paint. I'm back into my watercolor. I had abandoned it because I got out of my routine. And that's the thing with when you get out of your routine, you think I'm going to get right back in it. When I get back from vacation, I'll get right back in it. I have not watercolored in probably 6 to 8 weeks until last week. And now every morning, I have set it up in a spot that when I let my pets out to go potty, that's what I call it, to go to the bathroom, it's in a spot that while they're out there, I can really quick do some watercolor. And then each time I let them out throughout the day, I go back and I do a little bit more. And it's a beautiful break for me. It's a beautiful creative outlet and break where I'm not scrolling on my phone while they're outside. I'm not having a snack while they're outside. I'm not mindlessly watching TV while they're outside. I am doing something productive for myself. And I feel really good about it. At the end of the day, my husband comes home and it's like show and tell. I'm like, look what I painted today. And today's wasn't so great. So it'll be like a funny thing. Like, look at this terrible bird I painted today. But at least I did it. I learned some things, so whatever it is, you can find ways to do it. It doesn't have to be that I sit down and give a watercolor, an hour, 10 minutes, 5 minutes even. While they are outside doing their thing, I'm inside doing my thing. But those 5 minutes, several times a day, add up. And it really does regulate me. That's not what you have to do, but find the thing you can do. My next point is this. It's not the end of the world. So what? So the chaos got me. So I lost 6 weeks out of 52, or not even. Well, maybe. 6 weeks out of 52. Does that mean I give up on the others? Does that mean that, 46 weeks don't matter because I lost 6? It's what you do the majority of the time, 80-20. 80-20. 80% of the time, if I am showing up for myself as my best self and I am making my best choices that work for me, I am going to have progress over 52 weeks. And those 6 weeks won't matter. They were a good learning. They were a good blip on the radar, maybe even a good break. I went back to yoga this week, and I am telling you, I can't even believe it. I thought it was going to be horrible. I've gone a couple times to Power. I did some Pure Barre. I've gone to Zen. I am moving so well. I'm like, well, I think I needed the break a little bit. I think maybe I was taxing my body too much. Or maybe because I had lost too much weight, I didn't have the energy, and I wasn't fueling enough because I wasn't eating enough calories. I didn't have the energy before, and now I do. So now I can really put my energy into it. So now I've readjusted my goals. Do I want to lose some of the weight I gained? Sure, I do. But more than that, I want to transform my body. I want my body now to look different. I don't want to just look thin. I want to look strong. I don't want to look like a bodybuilder, but I want to look strong. My goal is shift. My goal is shifted. So my mindset is shifted. So now instead of getting on a scale and hoping I'm down 5 pounds, I'm looking at myself in the mirror when I brush my teeth and going, ooh, look at that. I mean, I'm not there yet, but I can't wait till I am. In my mind, I am. I'm visualizing it. Ooh, look at that. And my body will catch up to that. My weight will respond accordingly. Even if it doesn't, it's going to change in inches. It's going to change how my clothes fit. It's going to change how I feel. And that's all that matters, is how I feel. Not the size of the clothes on the tag that I'm wearing. But these 6 weeks, who cares? It's a blip. It's a blip over the last 3 years. I trust myself because I couldn't have gotten this far in my journey if I didn't. If I didn't trust myself to get back on track when there was slipping, things beyond my control, giving in, losing control when things beyond control happen, if I didn't build that trust with myself, that it's no big deal. I'll just get back on track. You know what to do. Trust yourself. I wouldn't be able to do this. I wouldn't be able to leave this video. I'd be ashamed. I'd be hiding. I wouldn't be being honest. I wouldn't be telling you, guess what, guys, I gained 15 pounds. I kind of lost my shit. I kind of let life have its way with me. But what good does that do, to hide in shame? That's when the old you wins. That's when the person you were before you woke up, that's what that person does. But this one says, I'm human and I make mistakes. It's not even really a mistake. It's not even a mistake. That's the mindset shift. It's not a mistake. It's just humanity. I got caught up in a moment. A lot of factors combined to create this moment where I was hurt, I was freaked out, I was sick, I was traveling. I was wanting to keep vacation mode going. I liked eating what I wanted to eat when I wanted to eat it and drinking what I wanted to drink when I wanted to drink it, and I needed that break. I'm human. 6 weeks, no big deal. Now I'm back on what works. I'm back on my yoga. I'm back on my nervous system regulation. I'm back on my breath work. I am back on high vibe foods. I'm back on my intermittent fasting. I am happy for the break. I am better for it. And that's the point of transformation. Did I fall back into old patterns and start to mask again? Yeah, I did. But I didn't stay there. And that's how I know I've made progress. because I said, okay. Turns out I took a mental vacation also. I took an internal vacation also. And now I'm back. And it feels good to be back. I don't resent it. I'm not mad at myself. I'm not angry. I'm actually grateful because I learned a lot. I figured out that I was too thin, because when I look at pictures of me with a little extra weight, I'm like, oh, yeah, I don't look sick. I feel like I looked sick before. It's just my own personal thing, you know? Everybody's got their own thing. So I'm only going to go so far to where I don't feel like that's how I look. That's my preference, but everybody's got their own. So you got to find that. And how are you going to find it if you don't get there and then, you know, kind of do that little seesaw back and forth? How are you going to build trust if you don't ever let yourself fall? You got to build that trust to build yourself back up. How are you going to do that if you're perfect all the time? We're not perfect all the time. We've got to let ourselves be comfortable with the imperfections. And we've got to be authentic and honest and truthful and not hide in shame and not get mad at ourselves and not fall back into old patterns of, well, you blew it. I knew you would. I knew you would. I knew eventually this was coming. So did everybody else. And now you've proved everybody right. Just go have that ice cream. Oh, I had plenty of ice cream. And I know. My husband and I just had the conversation yesterday. You know, we bought all these fruits and vegetables. I'm trying to limit meat, just a personal preference, but I'm trying to limit meat more, not altogether, but a little bit. And so, you know, we went shopping and we're at Costco and they have my favorite Haagen-Dazs. They had mini little Haagen-Dazs bars. And I was like, oh, should we get those? And he's like, I don't know, should we? And I was like, you know what? I can eat what I want, but why would I tempt myself with having it in the house? I won't eat it. I won't seek it out. I won't seek it out. And if it's not there, I won't eat it. I won't think about it. Why would I do that? Why would I set myself up to have that kind of temptation? That's dumb. I'm not going to do it. If I want one, we'll get in a car, we'll drive somewhere, and we will go get it. I don't want to make it that easy. Does that mean I don't trust myself? No, it's just I know myself. Why would I put myself in that position? If it's not here, I can't do it. So I'll make a different choice. I can have alcohol in my house and not touch it. But if I have an ice cream bar, it's going to be back in the back of my head saying, hey, remember me? Wouldn't I taste good while you're watching TV? And then I'll be like, yeah, you know what? You're only 100 calories. Sure you would. But then what happens? That sugar triggers a response. And then my body is like, more sugar, more sugar, more sugar, please. So why would I do that? It's not that I'm avoiding sugar, but I'm avoiding processed sugars. You know, fruit is different. It's got all that fiber. It processes differently in your body. It works for me to eat fruit. Ice cream bars, I can't stop thinking about them. And I know that about myself. So why would I set myself up to fail? Am I saying I'll never have another ice cream bar? Absolutely not. But I am saying I'm going to have to work for it. I'm going to have to go seek it out, not have it calling to me 3 steps away. So my whole point in this is that it's not what you do in a small amount of time that gets you to the goal of the transformation you seek, whether it's weight loss, whether it's just internal, not just, because that's huge. I think it's bigger than the weight loss. That's what's going to help you stay on track. Whether it's giving up drinking, staying, sober, whether you have a drinking problem or not, a lot of people are choosing that life now. Whether it's giving up, whatever it is, that is the external manifestation of the masks you wear to stay safe. You cannot expect to be perfect or not fall back into old patterns 100% of the time. In fact, you should expect that you will have those moments happen and plan accordingly. Trust yourself. Know how to get back on track. Know your boundary point. Maybe have a friend say, hey, you tapped me in to be your wake-up call. I'm noticing some things. I'm not judging, but you asked me to let you know if I started to see these repetitive patterns come into play. I'm seeing them. Are you okay? Your choice. Are you okay? Find somebody you trust to do that for you. Because you may not see it. I wasn't seeing it at first. I mean, obviously I was distracted. I've had kind of a summer, to be honest. But then I started to see it. And then I was like, can I keep getting away with it? Because at first it wasn't manifesting in any kind of external way until it did. And that's when I knew, you're not going to be able to get away with it. Why would you want to? Because what's happening on the outside is showing all this dysregulation on the inside. And that's what we're walking away from. It's that life of fight or flight. I don't want to live in that place. And I don't think you want to live in that place. And that's a story for another day. But I did want to just get on here and share with you my situation and just kind of give you permission to be human, Not that you need it, not that you need permission, but sometimes it just helps to have someone who you're like, oh, look at them. They did it. They lost the weight and they're keeping it off to go. Guess what? I'm also battling this demon on a regular basis. You don't conquer it. You become more aware of it. You create better patterns. You know what it feels like to be out of alignment, and it doesn't feel good. So you work harder to get back in alignment. So that's all I've got. I just wanted to share that with you. And I know you can do this. You know you can do this. But don't let a bad moment in time become a bad year. It can still be a great year. It is a great year. It's just a bad moment in time. And it doesn't even have to be that, It doesn't. I fell back into patterns. But it doesn't have to be a bad year. A bad 6 weeks. And if it is, don't make it a bad 2 years. Don't make it a bad 12 weeks. You control that. That's that internal transformation that's going to impact your external world. You are the calm in the storm, even when you're not. All right, guys, let me know what you think. Talk to you later. Bye.